In this episode, we're going to look at a very talented artist. She has received 2 Grammys, a Golden Globe, and an Oscar. She has recorded 24 albums so far, and she sang one of the best James Bond movie themes. In 1972, she married a folk singer, and they got divorced 11 years later. Besides being a gifted musician, she's also written 5 children's books and 2 memoirs. And in November of this year, 2022, she will be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You think you've guessed who she is? If you've guessed Carly Simon, you're right. So let's put an end to this anticipation. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Let's drop the needle. Carly was born into privilege. After all, her father is the Simon of the Simon & Schuster publishing firm. But Carly admits she had kind of a rough childhood. She was sexually assaulted by a family friend when she was 7 years old. Then she started stuttering, and her stuttering was quite bad. But she discovered that when she sang, she didn't stutter. So she started singing more and started songwriting. Her career began in 1964 when she and her sister Lucy recorded an album called Meet the Simon Sisters. It produced 1 hit, Inkin', Blinkin', and Nod. In 1966, the sisters released their second album, Cuddlebug. This album contains the song If You Come Down to the Water, which was co-written by Carly. The Simon Sisters' last album is The Simon Sisters Sing the Lobster Quadrille and Other Songs for Children. This album takes children's poetry and sets it to music, and it was released in 1969. But around this time, Lucy decided that she wanted to start a family, so the duo broke up. Lucy went on to have quite a bit of success writing music for Broadway plays. Carly decided to go solo. Her first album was released in 1971, and it's simply called Carly Simon. It contains her first top 10 hit, That's the Way I've Always Heard It Should Be. The song tells the story of a singer contemplating marriage and wondering if it's a trap. And that year, Carly won her first Grammy for Best New Artist. Later in 1971, she releases her second album, Anticipation. Now, the song Anticipation was written while she was waiting for her date to show up, and her date was Cat Stevens. Besides Anticipation, I like Legend in Your Own Time, The Girl You Think You See, Julie Through the Glass, and I've Got to Have You. The next year, she releases her breakthrough album, the wildly popular No Secrets. This is a terrific album. I like the lead-off track, The Right Thing to Do, His Friends Are More Than Fond of Robin, We Have No Secrets, Embrace Me, You Child, Waited So Long. Oh yes, and there's one more killer track on this album, and that's what's become Carly's signature song, You're So Vain. And speculation has swirled since the song was released as to who she's singing about. People thought, must be Mick Jagger because he's doing background vocals. Sure sounds like she's singing about Warren Beatty though, doesn't it? But Carly never really said anything about the song until 2015, when she finally admitted that one verse is about Warren Beatty, but the other 2 verses are about different people, which she has yet to reveal. The album was released right around the time that she married James Taylor, and she covers his song Night Owl on the album. Speaking of musicians, this album is chock full of guest stars. First up, there's Nicky Hopkins, the great piano player. And check my earlier episode to learn more about him. Then we have Lowell George of Little Feat on slide guitar, Klaus Voormann, the Beatles' friend and bass player in the Plastic Ono Band, on bass, Andy Newmark, Jim Gordon, Jim Keltner on drums, Bobby Keys on sax, and Mick Jagger, James Taylor, Bonnie Bramlett, Linda and Paul McCartney, and Doris Troy, all on background vocals. Wow, with all that star power and great songs, this album rose right to number 1 and stayed there for many weeks. Now, speaking of James Taylor and Carly Simon, I actually met them in a bathroom. And if you want to know more about that, check out my episode 9, Nights in L.A. Carly decided to write about her marital bliss in the album that followed called Hotcakes. It contains songs like Safe and Sound, Mind on My Man, Think I'm Gonna Have a Baby, and Grown Up. And she also sings a duet with her husband on Mockingbird, and then closes the album with I Haven't Got Time for the Pain. She follows this with the next album, Playing Possum, and this is Carly's third consecutive top 10 album. It contains the hits Attitude Dancing and Waterfall, and again her husband James is featured on the album. In 1976, she releases her sixth studio album, Another Passenger. It contains the hit It Keeps You Running, and again, James Taylor plays on the record. The next year, she records a blockbuster #1 song, Nobody Does It Better, for the James Bond movie, The Spy Who Loved Me. And remember, while she was making all this great music between 1972 and 1977, she was also a new mother. She and James had 2 children. She was a very busy lady. Now, I will admit that shortly after this, I sort of lost track of Carly, but she didn't stop. She kept working. Albums followed every year. 1978 was The Boys in the Trees, 79, Spy, 80, Come Upstairs, 81, Torch. Then she took a couple of years off, but in 1983, after she and James Taylor got divorced, she started recording again. And in the years in 1983 until 2009, she's recorded an additional 12 albums. In 1983, she became the first artist to win 3 major awards for the same song. The song was Let the River Run from the movie Working Girl. It won an Oscar and a Golden Globe for Best Original Song, and a Grammy for Best Song Written for a Motion Picture. In 1989, she turned her attention to writing children's books, and her first book was Amy and the Dancing Bear. 4 more children's books quickly followed. In 1993, she recorded a contemporary opera that was designed to attract younger audiences to opera. It was called Romulus Hunt. In 2003, she wrote and sang songs for Disney's Winnie the Pooh Piglet movie, Piglet's Big Movie. And she followed it up in 2005 with doing the same for Pooh's Heffalump movie. She wrote a book, Boys in the Trees, a memoir. And then, just a few years later, she followed that up with Touched by the Sun, My Friendship with Jackie, which is, of course, about Jackie Onassis. In 2016, she donated the rights to the song You're So Vain to an anti-Trump ad after she heard about that Access Hollywood tape where Trump brags about grabbing women. And as I said in the opening, later this year, she'll be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and it's about time. A very talented singer and songwriter, a loving mother, a winner of multiple Grammys, an Oscar, and a Golden Globe, and an author, Carly has certainly had an amazing life. There are many more facets to this woman's story, and if you'd like to learn more, check out our website, carlysimon.com. Thanks for watching, and Carly, thanks for all the music and the memories. And James and Carly, thank you for letting me share that bathroom with you. Keep a rockin'. If you liked this episode, hit the like button, and you can also leave me a comment down below, and I'll respond to you. If you subscribe, we'll let you know when future episodes come out.